not be an after if there's not a before. So, let us get to the game. Encounter Roleplay. I am sleep deprived, but I am very excited to be here on this fine Friday, this fine Friday, this finale of Judge Dredd. We are working on getting Shauna's camera working so that she can join us today, but in the meantime, why don't we go around and say hello to the cast and crew. Let's begin with our Dungeon Master / Games Master, Virginia, aka Tabletop Horde. How are you doing today, friend?
I'm doing okay. I'm tired a little bit. It's been a long week at work preparing for being off for a whole week. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, but I'll find something. But I'm super excited for this finale tonight. I was telling the guys while you're in the tunnel, even I'm not 100% sure where things are going to go tonight, especially with Kat having her narrative boon all powerful that she can play whenever she likes. So it's going to be exciting.
What happened for the week I was away?
So I decided that last week for Judge of the Week, we'd do something super special since it was the finale. So whoever got Judge of the Week, I decided, and it was Judge Talon. And I was like, cool, you can have a narrative boon that you can play to aid somebody. And I'm not going to restrict it to a thing. You can just introduce something to the story to help you. It can be in a scene you're not even in. Because why not? It's the finale. Go big or go home, as we were just all talking about in
and on the subject of go big or go home, Roller300 says it's time to grease your brandos. And to this, I say double the wild magic surges when we hit our retweet target. So if you hit 20 retweets, we're going to give away 2 wild magic surges to some of the wonderful players here. So that's double the danger. When we hit 30, it's going to be 4 wild magic surges. And we will continue escalating until there is no wild magic left. But
Chaos Chords, you know what to do.
Always full of wild magic. Our wonderful Cleric of Chord.
Aw, hello. Yeah, I'm really excited for today and also kind of sad because it's the finale and this has been a lot of fun and I don't want to stop. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. See if we can rescue Reinhold. See what Waits is going to do. I'm betting Waits is going to eat somebody. I would really like that to happen. Maybe. We'll see.
We will see. And we will see through 3 eyes. As Judge Reinhold, played by Judge Travis, that's your new name, joins us today.
The Honorable Judge Travis to you, Charlie. Prying open my third eye over here, which I've smudged a little bit. It's starting to look like Ash Wednesday. I'm listening to Sisters of Mercy very loud. I'm playing with action figures. I'm on fire, literally. My character, that is literally a blaze right now, if I remember correctly. Virginia's going to have to back me up on that one. So he's on a kill crazy rampage. It's the finale. Got to get it on. Got no choice but to get it on. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Take me away, Virginia.
And I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be for this finale with Zippy Zippo. Zippy, how you doing, friend?
I'm doing great. Hold on, I'm just trying to drink some coffee. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm so excited. Like, you guys don't even know how excited I am. I'm like super excited because we're gonna blow some shit up. It's gonna be great.
On Tuesday, we had a deep voice issue on Encounter Roleplay where people's mics were dropping about 12 octaves for no apparent reason. And today we have Zippy Zippo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We are here, and this is Judge Dredd in the world of 2000 AD. We highly recommend you go check out the system because they sponsor us, and we've been having a lot of fun delving into the Megacity block madness with all of you. As I mentioned in Tunnel, and I'm going to mention now so it's nice and official, we will have some more Judge Dredd coming up in the new year. We have a little mini campaign in the works. More details will be coming up about that as soon as I've made more details. It is in the works, though. We are planning, we are scheming, as we always do here on Encounter Roleplay. We have some more sponsors that I should probably mention, but I currently don't have the video up, so I'm going to stall for another hot second and say thank you all so much for spending your Fridays with us. It's been a blast, and we promise only more mayhem and destruction and big robots and fiery funerals and, you know, all of that good stuff. We have quite the finale to follow up from last season, so let's see if we can do it. And now, past Charlie, why don't you tell us about those sponsors? Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. And we're back in the studio. So yes, please do go and check out Fantasy Grounds, Wayland Games, and Tabletop Loot for dice, minis, virtual tabletops, and more. Speaking of virtual tabletops, I should remind you that all of our games are games here on Encounter Roleplay, and they are improvised. And if we do something crazy with our improvisation, hit that clip button, because I love making reels of crazy things that we have done here on Encounter Roleplay. It is one of my favorite things to do, and your clips are very much appreciated. And if you want to get in on the action, you want to tilt the scales in this game, you can interact with the game via some of the donation options down below. You can give crit successes, crit fails, which in this case will be an auto success or an auto fail. You can give banes and boons, which can take many shapes. Thanks to our game master's input, you can also unleash a twist of fate to save a character from death. And finally, of course, as always, ultimate power is attainable by you. I don't know what will happen, but it will be big. So without any further ado, Virginia.
So last week sorry, I got totally distracted
Tiny
by
axe.
this little axe.
Travis Tiny Axe. I can see this is like a Warhammer character in the making, right?
In case I have a tiny fire during the game today, I can chop my way.
Sorry, Travis. You have a question that you want to ask?
Hey. 2 points.
Just Reinhold is raging.
So we left last week with you making your way up to, I believe, level 82, if my notes are correct. And dealing with some resistance that you found from the anti-militia on the way up, in the form of them rolling some grenades down the stairs to meet you. But you did manage to take them out, with Talon catching them unawares with some grenade-like substances of her own, and Reinhold putting his axe clean through one of them. We saw the emotional moment where Judge Grease's loyalty was questioned and whether he'd gone too deep undercover for too long. With Judge Reinhold saving him from a nasty drop from the 80th floor from the explosion as he bravely tried to throw the grenade back to its owners. But I want to cut to the judge we didn't see last week. Judge Waits, who was left the last time we saw her, holed up in the refuge with Jana, the medic, And Judge Tetley, having had an unfortunate time in the room she had locked herself in. Judge Waits, you've been in here a while now with Jana and with Tetley, and nobody's come back yet. Nobody's come for you. You have heard fighting. Sometime after, you heard what sounded like the elevator coming down, which is odd, and you only notice it because you so rarely hear it anymore. And what sounds like people on the floor above, people here, lots of people, a mass of people with no idea where they're coming from. You can hear bangs outside echoing as some people are banging on the door to the refuge, which has been secured. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on with Judge Waits, because we never really saw her perspective back in that wonderful episode that you DM'd for me.
So I think Waits, when she was left by Talon and the crew in the safe hands of Jana the medic and Tetley, lest we forget, was basically shattered and broken physically, having been slammed around the bunk room by this unseen presence who she had been having quite the disagreement with. And now time has passed and she's been tended to, and her own body has been healing, has been taking care of itself. She'd only recently had a meal which had helped, and she aches like the night after a bachelorette party when you don't know which lamppost you've swung around, how much of that pink fizzy drink you've had to drink, but everything about you hurts, but you know that's a good thing because it means you're alive. You low-key wish you were dead. And she kind of rolls onto her side and is looking around and taking in that sound of gunfire, that sound of fighting, the mayhem, the lights flickering in the space, the electric coming on and off. And she kind of takes in the medic being there and would have had maybe a quiet conversation about her needs and getting an update on, you know, the last thing that Jana knows about what happened to the other judges, what is going on. And I think she would have established with Jana that she was going to go up to the 26th floor, acquire what she needed from the medical center, and go and help the other judges. Taking, of course, Judge Tetley with her.
Jana can fill you in on what little she knows, and it's not much more than you do, really, about what's going on now. And you know, in your line of work, that the plan can change on a moment's notice. So even the information that Jana is giving you about what was going on, or what was supposed to be going on, could be entirely different to the reality that is playing out on the floors above you. You feel nothing else of that overwhelming presence. That left a while ago, and Jana has done everything she can to patch you up with the few medical supplies she has with her here. And eventually, you do manage to leave the bunk room. The refuge itself is just as you remember it being. And there's noise from outside, people, the sound of people, not gunfire, not here, but people shouting for help, people calling out names as you make your way towards the door of the refuge.
I think she'll let Jana know that she's probably about to be very busy, and let her know where Talon keeps the pen and paper for, you know, making notes about people. And this is going to be the new medical center until things settle down, and probably going to be the hub because that's what Talon would want. That's what we've been setting up. And she'll be like, don't touch the soup on the back burner, use the soup that's in the fridge.
And Jana nods with a kind of knowing look. It's not the first time she's been told this on her visits here. And you see she goes into the kitchen. She covers up the pot on the back burner and turns it down just a little bit, having seen Talon do this many times before when she had to serve up soup, and starts going into the leftovers in the fridge and beginning to heat them, beginning to boil water to sanitize what little equipment she has. And you can see she's vaguely preparing to have to deal with some minor injuries. As you open the door, stepping out of the refuge, you see more people on this floor than you have ever seen in your entire time on Freedom Falls. None of them appear to be armed, but none of them are faces that you recognize either. You see just clusters of families and groups and people coming out, and there's crying and tears. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I was being called. And you start to hear whispers. People asking, how did you get here? And you start hearing talks about ISO 59. How they burned down the bars. How they got people here. How they were going upstairs. And it dawns on you. These people are talking about having left ISO 59. The people that have burned down the bars. Judges, by the sounds of it. Your colleagues have gone up, seemingly past ISO 59. There's whispers that they have gone up to the penthouse floors to confront the anti-militia.
Waits had a plan when she'd opened this door and stepped through, but now that plan rapidly changes, and she does an about turn and rushes to the communications device that we have for HQ, and she's putting in like an urgent message of, we need backup to, Freedom Falls. There is a civilian crisis. Innocent population needs evacuation. It's something to that effect of, if there was a flood that had hit a place, it's a very similar memo that goes out of, this is a severe crisis. This isn't to do with an illegal situation. This is just a population situation. And so she'll hammer that out. She'll put in all of the codes she can think of that will get attention, knowing that Freedom Falls is the shithole no one wants to deal with, knowing how much opposition there was to judges even being sent here, even us. No one gave a shit. No one wanted this. And she's afraid no one will help, but she's trying. She's trying to cheat the system a little bit using what little knowledge she has of the political situation of, which judges to poke, which, senior members of the Hall of Justice to go for, and what codes to put in.
I want you to make me a reputation test, and you can add your law skill to this. As you know all of the codes, every single one of them. You studied all of these, and you start putting in as many as you can, probably even a few that don't really count, but they're just close enough that you might be able to swing it. And you can hear people outside, they're talking about the medical center, but it's closed. And you can see Jana starts trying to bring people in, but there's just so many of them. Some of them talk about going downstairs to the atrium. Said something about a judge said there would be food there. And you know that Talon has been talking to some of the stall owners and the few food establishments that are still open down there in recent time to sort out produce.
I'm just checking to see if any of these exploits or traits are going to help me. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Aside from the fact that I did take distinction, which means I gain a +2 rep. So I have a total of 3 dice I get to roll for this. 1 for my law pool and 2 from rep.
Don't forget you can add luck, Charlie.
Oh, that is true. How much luck do I have? I have 2 luck dice. You know what? I will throw in 1 of those luck dice to make this 4 dice that I'm rolling. Here we go. Woof. 15. They were all teetering on 1 for the longest time. That was a tense moment. Hey, Shauna!
Oh my god, hey.
Hey, Shauna.
This is what happens when you put the right code into HQ. Judges appear.
For a moment, Judge Fremont gets a long list of codes over her headset asking to respond to a situation at Freedom Falls before dispatch realizes that you are already there. It's great to have you back, Shauna.
Oh, good. I'm happy technical difficulties are over and I'm on. Oh.
So you put in all of those codes to HQ. You get a handful of messages back. You get the feeling that to some degree you've kind of jammed up the system. So it's not like you're going to get an immediate response to one of the codes because they're now looking at all of them. But it might get across how serious things are, especially with your reputation. You don't necessarily have a bad reputation in HQ. There are some people who are, questionable about your methods or how strict you take things, but for the most part, it's understood.
My rep is 5. I'm Stella.
But you hope that you've done enough to push it through, and Tetley is anxious at your side.
And as soon as she's done, hammering in, every combo she can think of, she gives a nod to Jana and then is just straight out the door. She doesn't bother addressing any of the crowds, speaking to anyone. She's going for the stairs because the last thing she knew, the elevator was broken, and she knows she's got a hell of a long run to get up as high as she needs to get.
You do see as you're going out that the elevator is functioning. People are coming down it. Nobody's going up, but the doors close. It goes up, and then a few minutes later will come back down again, carrying more and more people.
As she sees the doors open and people exit out, she is like, what is going on? And just dives in. She pushes people out and just holds that button so the door's shut. And then she'll hold down on the highest number on that pad, and she's just going to keep holding it so it doesn't stop anywhere else. Just takes us straight to that floor.
You push past these people, and it's like trying to get past people on a packed train carriage. You're trying to go against the grain, and you get in. Nobody tries to get in with you. Everyone seems to just be exiting this elevator, and you push the button for the highest floor. You just push as many of them as you can until one of them causes the elevator doors to close, and that is ISO 59. No floors above that appear to work. But you hold the button down, and a few minutes later the doors open, and you are greeted by the thick bars that dropped down on this level, and it's the first time you've seen this. Just beyond these bars, of which there is a huge, almost human height but not quite, shaped hole where the metal looks like it has been burned away and shattered. And you can see there are people queuing here who are trying to climb through this into the lift. There is a woman there on one side and another one just further on who are calling out for people to abandon their weapons. And you can see that in this corridor, which again is surrounded by these huge sections of iron bars and grates that have dropped down, including the the area that looks over into the atrium, that too is barred. People discarding weapons, people trying to get their children to the front of this line. As you manage to crawl out and through, barely managing to stop yourself from catching on that metal, to hear these women shouting, women and children first, drop your weapons here. No weapons, outside of ISO 59. And you see no sign of any judges here. You do have the acrid smell that reminds you of Judge Talon's chemical concoctions.
I'm very familiar. I imagine that the refuge still smells of that, because I'm pretty sure that was used by Judge Fremont to try and open the bunk room door when Waits was blockaded in there. So Waits draws herself up to her full height. She's not an incredibly tall woman, but she draws herself up and holds herself as judgely as she can, bulks out her shoulders, hand is down on the weapons and things, and she proclaims that she is the law and there will be order here, and just kind of almost backing up these women who are doing this and making sure no one has a rush because the elevator doors have just opened. And then, because she's now higher up in this building, she's going to go to the personal comms and put a call out to the judges to report in. Because her fear had been being on level 25. If they are somewhere else, they could be blocked off or anything. Now that she's higher, now that she's out of the elevator, she's assuming her comms to them will work.
What do you say?
Judges, report in. She's very simple, like that.
Yeah. None of you up in the stairwell between level 82 and level 83 get this call. There is someone who answers you, however, Judge waits. There's a moment and there is what you first think is a crackle, but then you realize it's not. It's a tingle in the back of your neck that runs up to the base of your head. And there's a voice. You've done well. Still going. Keep going up. They can't hear you now. You can find them.
And waits, his hand grips tighter on that day stick, and then she bursts in a sprint of speed to where she believes the stair would be. Because I imagine it's kind of consistent as you go up through a block.
Pretty
They're going to
much.
be in a similar place.
Yeah.
And her
bolt
entire
out
body
there.
is screaming at her as she bolts towards this thing. And she's just like, you better run quicker than that because bad ladies are in my brain.
And the voice, it's almost taunting, but there's a sense of encouragement as well behind it. It's very odd. It's unsettling to have the juxtaposition between the two, as there is a keep going, go on, climb, higher up. You want to find Reinhold, don't you? Keep going. They can't hear you.
And she pauses for a moment, remembering the bunk room now, how it's the same voice, it's the same person she disagreed with. And she kind of stops, like she's got her hand on the banister and she grips and she stops and she's like, you do not tell the law where the law goes. You have no control here. Reinhold isn't up, is he?
Reinhold is up. He served his purpose. Now serve yours. Go.
And she's torn because she believes the voice in her head is going to lie and lead them on a merry dance. And then she is reflecting on what she's just seen. The idea of disarmament, Talon has to have been here, especially with that acrid smell. And she didn't see any sign of Talon on the way up. Fair enough, she was in the elevator, but still. So frustrated sound kind of comes out of her, this half growl, half scream, and she pushes up the stairs. And it's like the Stairmaster in the gym, and you've already done your workout, and you don't want to keep going, but you have to, and you feel kind of sick.
And as if on cue, as you get the go and you make that frustrated noise, it sounds like your footstep echoes louder than it should when you take the next step on the stairs and you realize somewhere above you, far off in the distance, an explosion has gone off. Somewhere in a floor above.
All right, so Talon is upstairs. And she keeps going.
And you just hear the voice in the back of your mind. A few moments later, I approve of the pizza. Somewhere a voice in the back of your mind says, I told you I wasn't lying. And then suddenly that presence, and you don't realize how oppressive it is having something in the back of your mind like that until it's gone, but that it is. You find yourself running up the stairs towards the sound of that explosion and soon following gunfire.
And
Now,
she'll
that would've
draw her gun into her hand in this moment. Glad that it hadn't been removed by Jana during the medical attention. Possibly because it's very dangerous to try and take a gun off a judge, even a battered and bruised one.
And waits.
And waits.
Judge Grease, Fremont, Reinhold, and Talon, you are in that stairwell at floor 82, between floor 82 and floor 83. There are 3 bodies lying here. all of them sentenced by you for the potential murder and attempted murder of judges. Everything has gone quiet in this stairwell now. There's some noise further off down one of the corridors, or perhaps the floor above. And something from downstairs, very quiet, but there's a small pattering. Every now and then the sound echoes just right and you can hear it. What are you doing?
Well, I'm on fire. If I remember correctly, you're gonna have to confirm that.
Would you like to put yourself out, Judge Reinhold?
So he's like slapping it, kind of putting himself out, and then leaving his axe sticking out. I see. I'm gonna mess up my eye. Leaving his axe sticking out of this, criminal lying on the floor in front of him. He just sits down in the lotus position and begins to do his deep breathing exercises.
Talon's going to recover her knife.
Yeah.
Both knives, actually. It's like, and then
knives.
she's going
You
to
have
look
to wipe them clean.
She'll find a clean spot on their clothes and wipe it clean. And then she's going to look at Grease and go, "Didn't you say they did something to your people?"
Oh yeah, no, they do. What they did was they took them, they beat them, they strung them up, and used them as wall art. So I'm killing them. That's just fair play. Turnabout's fair play.
Do we have anything that we can use as like short bits of rope or anything like that?
They're all wearing enough kind of loose clothing that you could fashion something out of it.
Okay. She looks around. She goes, "I think this stairwell could use a little decorating." And
You have an idea?
She starts taking off the clothes. She makes a noose around the neck of one, and then
Whoa! We're not hanging people.
they're already
What?
dead.
Oh! Noose for
Oh.
them.
Yes.
Yeah,
just
Okay. All right.
dissuade
I thought-
anybody else from coming up, right?
Yeah, no. I thought
mean-
it was a noose for us.
No. It's for
Ah.
them. And what they did to yours, we'll do to theirs. And she starts
yeah.
hanging bodies on the
Bodies
off of the
for-
railing of the stairs.
And you have to be very careful. You nearly drop one at one point, as the clothing isn't really designed for this, but you get it as secure as you can. It's a macabre spectacle for anyone that would come across it.
Talon's been out of fucks to give for a bit.
I'm just imagining her lighting another cigarette, looking back at her work.
Exactly.
Clones can heal 1d6 per day. Can I do that during
You
my
can.
brief meditation?
What is everyone else doing? So Reinhold is meditating.
I am tinkering with my lawgiver to see if I
Okay.
can up its RPM
Okay.
or RPS. RP something or other.
Now you're going to have to tell me what you're referring to, because I thought I knew, but then two other
Oh,
abbreviations.
the pew-pews per second. PPS. Pew-pew
Okay.
per second.
That I get. Okay, go ahead and make me let me see. This is probably going to be logic. And then if you
Okay.
have like pistols or firearms or like I don't know if they're probably mechanics as well or electronics.
I got pistols. Logics, and that's 5. Okay. Boop, 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 swoop. And that is a juicy 18.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it gives you something to do. It's Still kind of difficult because where your hand has kind of been burnt and caught in the heat of that explosion, you do have to look at the fact that all of the hair, the fur, I don't know which it is that apes have, but across that one arm to the elbow is gone, leaving you with an almost strangely human-like hand and arm. Let me see. What should we do here?
Wait. Before you hang that one, Talon, let me see it. Do you got your knife on you?
Yeah. She'll pull out the knife from her boot, hand it to you.
Okay. And Grease is gonna scalp this dude. And he's gonna take the scalp and put it around his naked arm. Ah, there, much better.
It again is a very macabre looking spectacle. And you've got this hair wrapped around, and you haven't really had time to clean it up either, so it's kind of bloody and covered in shards of concrete, and bits of it are slightly bubbled away from whatever it was that Talon had in her concoction that she threw. However, okay, I'm gonna say that with your lawgiver, you want to increase the rate of pew pew fire, right?
Yeah, the rate of fire. ROF. ROF. That's the acronym I was looking for.
We know all of the abbreviations here. I will say then, I will give you an extra point of damage on your shots, because you can still only take 2 actions at a turn. So we'll do it that way.
Oh yeah, no, it was just a damage would work narratively.
Yeah. So just you add 1 to whatever your damage is. Ups the output a little bit.
Heckin' yes.
Just Reinhold is there doing his meditation. Just Talon is, retrieving her knives and admiring her work as Grease tinkers around with the lawgiver. As you're all kind of still braced up, you found a good point of cover to try and, catch yourselves. Judge Fremont, are you doing anything in this time?
I think Judge Fremont just kind of stands and just kind of centers herself, breathes in and out, similar to what Judge Reinhold does. But I'm going to use a psi power called Perception Filter. So what that does, it makes me basically people don't realize I'm there. For all intents and purposes, I'm not there to anything less than my psi score. As far as their intuition, if my psi beats their intuition, they're not aware I'm there.
What is your psi score?
8.
Has anyone got an intuition over 8?
I don't think I do.
Over 8 or 8?
I imagine
8.
it'd be equal to or over, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have an 8 intuition.
Yes.
Okay, so Reinhold, you are still aware that Judge Fremont is here, and you can feel that the psi presence, that she is doing something. Grease and Talon, it's not that you notice that Judge Fremont is missing, it's just her presence is very far in the back of your mind. You know that logically she must still be here. You haven't seen her leave. But it's almost just, the only way I can explain this is it's like in Harry Potter when the Muggles get too close to the Wizarding World and they're like, and they don't really think about it. I imagine it's almost like that. You know logically that Judge Fremont must be here, but you find it very difficult to focus in on pinpointing where she is. Judge Waits, you have been climbing for a while. You start to hear sounds up above. Nervously, you perhaps reach for your lawgiver, and as you turn round this set of stairs, you are met by a macabre sight. 3 bodies hanging from the railings over the side. Some of them burnt, each of them tied up with what appears to be their own clothing. One of them has got a gaping wound down the front of its chest where the cavity has been ripped open. And you can hear more voices just a little further up. But these do not look like judges.
I think Waits clears her throat and reminds herself that she is the law, and clearly the judges have gone to the heart of darkness here, because this could only have been done by deeply, deeply criminal individuals. And she is tempted to pull out her notebook and write the ticket then and there, but she decides to wait, because surely the judges will have other additions to make, and we might as well do this properly. She kind of changes the law master setting to kind of shoot to kill, and proceeds up, no longer running, each step very cautious, very stealthy. Looking at these bodies, I imagine she knows they're pretty fresh, even though they've been clearly messed with.
They are very fresh. All three of them are
very flesh is also accurate.
Flesh. Yes, that too. But you can see the one with this gaping chest wound is still kind of bleeding. They've been dead probably only no more
you hear
than
Waits
10
kind
minutes.
of click her tongue and say, "Not my kind of barbecue," and push kind of slowly up the stairs, even though like part of her is like, "That's blood and I'm kind of hungry," and the other part is like, "Nope, we don't eat that." And so she's very stealthily proceeding up, knowing criminals can't be far away now. The perps are gonna get it.
As you go up, you start to hear the voices more clearly. And you turn the corner and just look round. And I'm going to say that nobody notices you, because you do have danger sense. If I've got that for the right judge.
I do have danger sense, yes.
You take the peek. There is a chimp sat on the floor with a lawgiver that's just being put back together. There is a judge with their back to you, but the cigarette smoke coming from in front of them is very clear. Judge Reinhold. Yes, you're sure that is Reinhold. It's sat on the floor in the lotus position, as you're so used to seeing him. You don't spot Judge Fremont here. At this moment, you assume that Fremont must be here if everyone else is here, but it escapes your notice at the moment. The judges themselves are covered in blood. You can see that Grease has got a bloodied arm with this thick tuft of brown hair that you're definitely sure is not his, and you recall that one of the bodies hanging was missing its scalp.
So Waits does that thing she does where she pulls herself back into like judge posture, and she just kind of strides in. I wasn't aware the Hall of Justice has instigated spring break for judges.
Everybody knows that judges don't have spring break.
Talon turns around and points to Reinhold, who is still meditating, and then reaches into a pocket, pulls out a spare lawgiver and with a extra clip of ammo strapped to it, and says, "I have a present for you," and tosses it to Judge Waits.
And I think Waits will grab it kind of in her free hand. "She led me to you. Whatever is going on isn't over. I'm glad Judge Reinhold is alive." And Tetley, I imagine, at this point, tosses over to Judge Reinhold.
Oh, Reinhold, you vaguely...
He's like been struggling with the stairs. He's only got little legs.
Yeah.
He's here now.
I imagine there's a point where you had to carry him up some flights as well. Dog in one hand, lawgiver in the other.
And then she'd heard something been like, "Judge Tetley, catch up," and put him down, and then actually had to run herself.
Reinhold, you are vaguely aware of Waits' voice as you meditate. What you become even more aware of, though, is something fluffy and warm that jumps into your lap and begins trying to lap at your neck, but whose legs are slightly too short to quite get there, but you feel this, scratching at your chest. And as you open your eyes, Judge Tetley is in your lap looking very pleased to see you. But he realizes he can't get to your neck, so he's getting to your hands. He's nuzzling up against your uniform. There's corgi hair everywhere.
Corgi hair. That sounds
Tetley,
nice.
Judge Tetley, good afternoon. It's good to see you too. Are you injured?
As soon as you answer him, he kind of steps off of your lap and sits in front of you like he's paying attention. You ask if he's injured, and he cocks his head.
It's all gone to hell, Tetley. I've seen the face of our true enemy.
And you
She
see
had me in.
ears prick up.
She had me in brain jail temporarily, but I am free, and I've picked up her scent.
He hears scent, and you watch as he puts his nose to the ground and starts snuffling around. And Judge Waits, you can hear what Reinhold is saying to Tetley. And after a few moments of snuffling, he looks back at you confused that he can't pick up the scent that you're talking about.
Judge Reinhold, what information do you have?
It's Judge Shea. She's a puppet master behind this whole thing. Something to do with the anti-militia, but she's outside of it. I don't know the details. But she took over my mind temporarily, put me in a box. I was restrained. I was tormented and assaulted, but I've broken free. But she still speaks to me occasionally. She's up here somewhere. I was
1,000,
set on fire.
Judge Reinhold.
1,000?
Years in ISO so far for her crimes. Please continue.
I intend on opening up her mind and scooping it out like a melon. I intend on breaking her psyche and crumbling her at my feet. I am within the law to do this.
And it's at the mention of Judge Shea that Tetley's ears prick up again, as he's been kind of snuffling around Greece and Fremont. You get the moment where Tetley looks in your direction and cocks his head, but then carries on, wanders round Talon's feet. But upon hearing Judge Shea, his head turns and snaps back. And you can't help but feel like this dog is watching this conversation between Waits and Reinhold as he kind of looks between them. And as soon as Reinhold starts talking about what he wants to do, Tetley begins whining this anxious, sad whine.
What is it, Tetley? What do your keen senses pick up?
He just kind of looks at you the way that, dogs do when you've taken away their toy or when you've told them they're bad and they're looking at you like they can't quite believe it. And he just kind of flops down, head in hands on the floor, and just whines loudly and then looks back at Waits.
You knew her, didn't you, Tetley? You knew this Shea.
And as soon as you say Shea, his head snaps again and tilts.
And you know what she's capable of. You know she's too dangerous to live.
And Waits, you pick up on this because you've watched Tetley in distress when in that room, and he looks distressed. It's almost like you get the feeling he can understand Reinhold's words.
Reinhold,
You're not sure he likes them.
this is a judge that can speak to minds. I am fairly sure that will include our canine judge. I am not sure what game is being played. But I believe you are right. We must capture the rogue Judge Shay. And if she proves to be a dangerous weapon being used against the law and the safety of this megacity block, she must be disabled.
I've allowed her to attack me, to violate my mind in a way that I find unacceptable. My judgment is compromised, but the goal is clear. She must be stopped. Cube or no cube, axe to the head or no axe to the head. We've seen the face of our true enemy, and Tetley is going to lead us right to her.
Judge Talon, I issued a message to HQ reporting of the civilian crisis taking place on floor 25, and I imagine other floors with the evacuation of this level and those below.
Thank you. Was not able to get that message out. We were under a time crunch. And as much as I appreciate Judge Reinhold's desire to apprehend Judge Shay, we still have the anti-militia who are the ones who put the bullets into those judges before us, who started this thing that we need to take care of before we track her down.
Judge Fremont, as you're there, silently enjoying the scene in front of you, where your fellow judges know reasonably that you must be here, but also have no sense of where you are. You feel that strange tingle in the back of your neck. You feel that oppressive force as something finds its way into your mind. A voice. They're wasting time. You're all wasting time. You need to find the man that Reinhold saw. You need to find him. Don't let them waste time, Fremont. I can see you now.
You want to hasten your death? Go ahead. We'll be there. And I'll look at Judge Reinhold she wants us to hurry. She knows where we are.
And I imagine that just like that, Reinhold, you've always been aware of Fremont's presence here. But wait, it's only when you hear the voice that it's obvious. Fremont has been standing here the whole time.
She's right right in front of you, maybe a little bit too.
Yeah.
Waits gives a polite nod.
And as I put my axe handle down, pull the axe out of the guy as I'm standing up, put it over my shoulders, and be like, it's a trap, right?
Of course.
The side judges will deal with the side judge.
Yes. This is a private matter between our division. We'll deal with her as we see. But the rest of you should take your side blockers now. Might prevent some sort of...
I don't want to take my medicine.
Oh, you don't have to, but I hate to see that mind hollowed out.
You speak as if there's a mind to hollow out.
I pull out a hunk of banana bread, of the banana nut bread, and I take the side blocker and I push it down into the banana nut bread, pinch it closed, and hand it to Grease.
And Grease, as this is handed to you, you too feel a shiver in your spine. The voice Maybe you should listen to them. I'd hate to hollow out whatever's in here.
Oh, is this the psychic lady?
Take the blockers. You don't want to see what the others might.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. I can keep singing if you'd like.
You feel the
Or you
presence.
can get the hell out of my freaking head.
You feel the presence go. I need to know who takes psi blockers. Okay, so Talon does, Waits does.
Waits just got thrown around a room by a psychic. She doesn't want to do it again.
I'm gonna stand firm that he'll take the banana bread covered pill, but he's not taking it right now.
Okay, so just holding on to it for now.
Yes. Essentially.
Okay. So, where do you wish to go from here? You have heard some commotion in this corridor further on and the one above, but nobody seems to have come out to greet you.
Were we told we needed to go to the penthouse? The very top? That's where Talon's headed. She's going all the way up.
And Waits
Okay.
is following. I should at this moment let chat know that we are just 4 retweets away from 2 wild magic surges. That's right. When we hit 20,
retweets.
when we hit 20 retweets this week, 2 wild magic surges because more chaos is more fun.
Magic. Let the chaos be a
2
thing.
wild magic surges. Oh my goodness, it's like a
It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
So is
We're practically
everyone,
giving them away.
is everyone making their way up?
Talon takes that
Yes.
last drag off of her cigarette, off the edge, down the.
You chuck it over the side and it catches on some of the residue
Fire.
from your explosive on the side of the railings, and you watch as there's a small which dies down pretty quickly.
And into your view comes a piece of paper.
Which she takes, crumples up as she goes up the stairs.
You hear Judge Waits flick to a fresh page in her pad and she adds 2 counts of littering, 1 count of petty arson, one count of
I was gonna
illicit
pick it
drug.
up on my way back.
We are the law. The new ticket is offered out.
Grabs it as she's walking up. She folds it into a paper airplane and down the stairs again.
Do I feel any residual? Do I feel any residual emotions from upstairs? Means empathy with 30 feet.
It's just on the fringes of that kind of psychic vision that you have, that sense, panic, fear, pride, just all of those things that you would that you felt before when dealing with gangs or situations where there is great hostility towards judges, where perhaps the judges are kind of doing okay for themselves. But that's what you get. It's that mixture of fear and adrenaline. The adrenaline is the strong one. That's the one that permeates furthest in terms of its feeling. But that's what you're getting as you go up. And you don't know if all of that is just from the people who live on these floors that are now trapped in what is effectively a war zone, or if it's from the anti-militia themselves. But that fear and adrenaline only heightens the higher you go.
Okay, I think just in the middle of the walking, Fremont just out of nowhere just says, "Oh, they're afraid up there." And she just smiles.
Grease,
Good.
it's when you hit level 104 that you start to recognize this place. When you were led through the arcade and you went up and up, you remember seeing this number painted on the walls and the corridor that you were in before a few turns later you found yourself in that penthouse suite. The man whose name you never got, that led to the office where you shot Caro, a judge believed to be dead.
Oh man. Oh no. I have never been here in my entire life. Wow. Is this a new painting? It looks just like me. I mean, no, not me. There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun.
Judge Grease, I do not believe this is an appropriate time for the song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's so very inappropriate. Bad Grease. Inappropriate Grease.
Oh, Grease, that will stop her for a good 2 seconds. But keep it up.
I will. And they will know my name is Brando.
Do something from
Nice.
Guys and Dolls.
What? Guys and Dolls? Okay.
Is that Chimps and Pinkies? Like, what is the name of that in the, like, ape theater world?
Apes and Pinkies, yes. That's what it is.
Do you say anything?
I don't know. Do I say anything to...
Do you say anything about recognizing this level? Because Talon is
No.
just going to keep climbing. Otherwise, I assume. Unless you think that Grease is being really suspicious.
I'm...
Oh, yeah, Grease is being suspicious. She knows that
I'm being
sarcasm.
sus as fuck.
How much further? Here? This one?
I don't know why you're asking me. I've never been here before in my life.
Grease and Talon, you feel a tingle in the back of your neck, and for a moment your heart stops. You've taken blockers, and Talon, the feeling's there and it fades, but Grease, you haven't taken yours yet.
Nope.
And a voice. Tell them, Grease.
My mother was a tailor. She sewed my blue jeans. My
you don't tell
father
them,
was...
you'll never get to
Yeah,
shoot him.
Oh, okay, alright. Hold on. We get to shoot shit? What am I telling him?
The bald man in the suit. The one you don't like.
Yeah?
That's who Reinhold's looking for. That's who I showed to Reinhold. Or you can just lie and say nothing and I'll just go silent. Perhaps I won't
Oh,
guide
you
you
will?
anymore.
Wait. Come back. Don't just abandon me. I thought we had a thing. I thought we had like a little moment here. Come on, I was singing. You were invading my brain.
Find
Alright.
him.
Can you just tell me where to find him? I mean, if you're like this omniscient psychic, I mean, you're kind of bad at it.
There's no answer. The presence is gone.
All right, some crazy psychic chick tells me to tell you that there's the bald man on this level. I think. I don't know. She kind of just invades randomly.
It's at this point, Talon, you realise that Grease has not taken his psychic blocker.
Did we split up, or are we still all together?
We're still all together.
Okay.
Damn it.
Grease, you're vulnerable. You've got a very powerful side judge on the top of this building. We're within close proximity.
It'll be fine. Look, I'm using her and I'm pumping her for information, man.
Mm-hmm. I don't give a
It's
damn
like
about Caro. Caro can go hang. Shay is mine.
It's like reverse psychicology.
Don't say that we didn't warn you first, Grease.
No. I just don't like medicine. It always tastes weird. But the banana bread does look kind of good, though.
She told me what she was doing with Reinhold. More psychics make her more powerful. She needs the minds.
So we give her the psychics, and we use them as bargaining chips.
Can we take care of the guy that shot the judges first? And Talon's over at the door over at the stairwell door that's marked 104, and is kind of listening, getting ready to open it up to peek in, just to peek.
You don't hear anything on the other side of the door. In fact, the actual the kind of glass that would let you look through has been blacked out on the other side as well.
The disorder must stop. Talon is right. One and then the other.
She looks at Fremont, used now to the way Fremont senses things, and says, "What do you know that's on the other side of this door? Because otherwise I'm going to open it up and chuck my last bottle of boom."
I have it's basically the same feeling, right, that I've been getting.
It's further away. Where it felt like you were getting closer to it, it feels like whoever or whatever was giving off that feeling has retreated back deeper into this floor.
Save that for later. They appear to be pulling back. Probably to someplace better for them to defend. Although you will need it later.
Good. And she opens up the door and steps through, and immediately to the side with her weapon drawn, protocol entry.
I'll say for the purpose of this, I won't make you roll, but you try to just push the door open, it doesn't work. You have to shoulder it in using the full weight that you have behind you. And you hear something snap on the other side, and it looks like there was a chain wrapped around the back end of this door. And you step in, and it's very odd. It reminds you to some degree of the arcade, that feeling of the other within the inside of this mega block. Because it feels like you've just stepped into somebody's hallway. The floor is this slightly badly laid but polished black stone. Not the regular concrete floors that you're used to. In fact, the floor here is a few inches higher, where it's been laid directly on top of this concrete. And the walls have been painted. And it feels like you're in someone's hallway. And Grease, you remember walking through areas just like this. You remember coming up to this penthouse. You remember it being quite large, you having been taken through just a small portion of it, and it looking like several apartments on a singular floor have been knocked through to create this larger space in these bigger rooms. And you now wonder if perhaps it was even bigger than just the bits that you saw. If perhaps some of this level has effectively been made into a quite literal penthouse suite. As you step through and your boots crack and creak against the flooring. The corridor goes straight ahead. There is a left-hand turn here, and there is another left-hand turn further up the corridor, but no rooms as such yet.
All right. Whenever this wants to stop being a spooky, scary scare house, that would be great.
I thought you liked horror movies. And she starts
I
creeping
do.
forward.
Horror movies. They have the weird, weird manipulative, like ironic sense. You know what's gonna happen, but you don't. They don't.
Fremont, have you still got your empathy up?
Yeah, it more or less kind of just is continuous.
You get a sense of fear getting closer. Fear and not quite desperation, determination, hatred getting closer and closer as you make your way down this hall up towards that first left-hand turn. All stacked up, I imagine, protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And then you all hear a voice. Go on.
I said, oh, and she'll just be like, oh, fear is they're trying to push you through fear with resolve. Up ahead.
And as you get to the corridor, what is your kind of marching order right now? Because I imagine you're doing that kind of tactical stack up as you move, covering each other thing. Who is ahead? Who is behind?
Grease is in the mid. In the mid range.
I'm in the back with the axe, reluctantly following because I don't have Shay's specific location yet, and so I'm reluctantly following the rest of the group.
I imagine that Talon and Waits are at the front.
Yeah, Fremont is just behind, just kind of like walking straight up, kind of like her hands intertwined, just looking straight ahead.
And waits as you look down the corridor, just barely sticking your face out, just enough for you to see. You see a man. Behind him, somebody has an arm around the throat, a gun held in their hand. This man looks pale, deathly pale. He is dressed in horribly ragged, disheveled, stained clothing. There is a huge, red stain over the side. It looks like it's dried. And it looks like he is having trouble standing. In fact, it's the arm that's kind of keeping locked around his throat and chest that is keeping him upright, you would guess, just from your glance. Another man behind him, dressed far better, holding this gun. Slowly kind of, not quite walking forwards or back, but kind of moving around in that small spot as he adjusts for the man collapsing in his arms as he tries to right him. And you hear him shout out, I know you're there. I know you're there. We can see you on the cameras.
No one here but us potatoes.
Put down the weapons and just walk away. We'll even let you leave the mega block. Otherwise,
you know what? Why don't you put down the weapons and walk away, and we'll let you leave the mega block. I got him on the ropes.
Is he? He's in front of us, right?
He is. He's behind this man who looks deathly pale and quite seriously injured.
Going to slowly walk closer to him. Does he notice me?
Are you using an ability to prevent him from noticing you?
I still have that. I still have that thing up.
It
lasts until I attack. Yeah.
Cool. Let me have a look and see what his intuition is.
How far away are they?
He's just a little further round that first left-hand turn on the corridor, probably midway down. Let's see. No, Fremont, you don't think he does notice you, because you step very boldly out into the middle of that corridor. And I imagine the other judges can see you because you've made your presence kind of known to them. And for a moment, you will think, surely there's going to be a gunshot. But the man keeps talking as if Fremont hasn't stepped out. I got one of yours here. You put down your weapons, you can have him back. You can even walk away and leave. Get out of Freedom Falls. Got no jurisdiction here.
Virginia, quick question. Waits at the mention of the cameras would have used her peripheral to look to see if she could see such devices. Are there any obvious ones?
You do spot one or two. They're very inconspicuous, so almost like globe cameras. You don't think that they are necessarily original to the Mega Block, because there are cameras here, but they don't look like that. These look like they have been installed. Although you only spot 2 of them out of maybe the 4 that you can get an eye on quickly that appear to have the little telltale red light.
Okay. Question number 2. What setting does it need to be on my gun to go through the first guy into the second guy? Armor piercing? Would that work?
I would say yes.
I think
however,
then the
it
judges
is
would
more-
recognize the sound of the setting being cranked.
Can Talon reach over and just put a hand on the weapon, not covering the muzzle like that, just put a hand on Waits and just looks at her, pulls out her boot knife, puts her finger to her lip.
Fremont, you have a better look at these 2 men. One of them behind is dressed in what looks like almost military fatigue-like uniform. It's black. It's probably made of a similar material, perhaps not quite as good as your judge's uniform. The man in front is deathly pale. He is injured. He is eyes not quite adjusting, as if he's barely there. And if you have seen what Judge Talon would have showed you, which was the records of the 2 previous judges here, you only just recognize this man as Judge Caro.
Oh. She's going to continue walking?
And you walk that kind of slow, dramatic pace, and I imagine the camera panning down to your boots as you take the step through this corridor. As this man holding him up, this is where the fear is not coming from the thug. The fear is coming from the battered, beaten, bruised judge in front of you. And you see he goes to try to speak and he can't even form words. He just chokes. It's like, see, you can take your own and you can go, or I can shoot him here and we'll take the rest of your badges for the back wall as well.
Ooh.
I got
Judge Fremont.
I got this, guys. You can shoot him because we don't care. He failed.
A shot rings out, and Fremont and probably Waits, you're the only ones that see it, as this thug holding up Caro takes the gun, puts it to Caro's head, and then just as he pulls the trigger, tilts it up, and one of the light fixtures on the wall shatters resoundingly. Caro can muster only the ability to whimper quite loudly as you see he flinches and tries to pull away, but just isn't strong enough. It's sad seeing a judge in that way.
I would like to let Shauna do whatever Shauna would like to do, but then Waits is going to take her shot unless something else changes.
All right. Fremont's going to get hopefully right next to him. She's just going to take out her Lawmaster and just point it at the base of his neck. and fire.
Touching or not touching?
No, not touching. Just like, about like, just hovering like an inch or two away from him.
Okay, make your attack and add 2 bonus dice to that.
Okay, so that's...
Not seeing this at the sound of the gunshot, Talon would have removed her hand from Waits' gun.
And then 2 more. 22.
Nice. The gunshot goes off. And Grease and Reinhold, being further back, you have no idea who's pulled this trigger. I'm not even going to make you roll damage for this, Shauna, because I think it's reasonable that close, even a standard execution round to the back of the neck is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you wait until he's kind of moved his neck outwards, trying to talk around Caro to take the shot. Waits, the light fixture on the wall to your right shatters from a bullet. And as you go round to take your shot, and I imagine you do let off a round instinctually as you go round the corner, you know where this man is. Fremont, you just step back as that body collapses, as a second bullet from Waits' gun fires again, clean, knowing Waits, headshot straight through, as if to double tap. He drops and Caro hits the floor even before he does. Heat in the floor, shaking, gasping, barely able to move, trying to claw himself away from this body. Gunshots have been fired here in the penthouse suite. Your presence is almost definitely known to somebody. And you have a potentially dying judge.
I'll kill him on the way past and continue moving.
You kill Caro.
Yup.
Charlie, I need you to make me a will test.
Oh, that's why I'm killing him on the way past.
Ooh, yes.
Waits wants to eat, and she's done negotiating with terrorists. And she
Caro-
fully believes Caro is in league with what is going on here. He just got caught by his boss, and his boss was done.
You
That's
know
why
that
Waits is there.
Caro is the one that Grease shot, who was being held captive.
Yeah. A judge wouldn't allow themselves to be caught and used like that. He should be dead already.
Okay. Still make me
I
a will
agree.
test.
That's why I
Yeah.
shot him.
Oh crap, I closed my sheet. Hold on, 2 seconds. Close my sheet.
Talon's the only one that thinks Caro was a pawn.
My
In her
will...
head, she's writing a ticket.
That's fine. Waits is more like, we're in a rush, we don't have time to deal with this right now. 14.
14. You do it. And there is a little bit of you that it pains. Because you also know that you would try never to leave a fellow judge behind if you can help it, but either way, whether he's guilty or not, he is in a bad way. There is a festering wound that you can actually see as you come up beside him. Probably where Grease shot him, where it never received treatment. So, traitor or not, the kindest, justest thing to do in your mind is to put a bullet in him, which you do. There is an exhale of breath before his body goes still. Who isn't so? It's only Talon and Waits who have taken psychic blockers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Grease, Fremont, and Reinhold, you are stopped in your tracks as briefly a violent scream echoes in the back of your mind, and it takes you to a moment to realize that it is not a thoughtless scream, but it's the sound of the woman screaming Caro's name. Before
Excellent.
it fades.
Ow!
Oh,
Come
she
on,
didn't
lady.
like that. Good.
Anything to soften her up. Now we gotta find her.
Can I reach the cameras?
Yeah.
I'm going to start disabling the system. I'm going to find the wire and cut this and blind the system.
Cool. Just make me a logic test with your engineering or mechanics skill. Yeah, you go over to the two that have got the red light in, and Waits can point them out, and you manage to very quickly unscrew the housing and clip the wires, and the lights go dead. This further gives weight to Waits' theory that perhaps not all of the cameras here work.
Waits is bent over Caro and has taken out her boot knife and sliced his wrist. And she'll say to him basically the oath that the judges take when they become judges, and state that they will retrieve all property that belongs to the Hall of Justice, meaning his badge. And then she's going to have a snack, a little bit of takeaway.
And is Waits being shy about this, or does she not give a shit right now?
She's just getting it done right now. We've
So
got
anyone
running
that hasn't seen Waits do this will probably shock you as Waits drinks this man's blood.
Oh, okay. All right. What the shit? We got a Triclops psycho. We got a psycho. And now we got a vampire? Okay. All right. You know what? It's okay. It's all right. I'm done here. I'm done. Okay. Goodbye. Sayonara. Happy trails. Later days. He starts walking off.
Judge Grease, you have the scalp of a man attached to your arm. I'm not sure you can issue judgment in this matter.
I took a grenade. Look at this arm. It's furry, beautiful, natural. Look at this arm. I look like you.
Dereliction of duty is lethal, Judge Grease.
Shit, what? What'd you just say to me? Did you call me a shampooty?
I said, Judge Grease, dereliction of duty is lethal for us.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm a judge.
We need to move. They know we're here.
Yes.
She wipes her mouth.
God, I hope there are more cameras and they saw that.
I hope so too. And she's gonna straighten up and
you
another cigarette.
the smell of tobacco smoke fills the air, and Judge Waits, as you wipe, it wipes your lips clean, but it smears it across your face like war paint, and it stains even on top of the black of your judge's uniform. You have that sheen that you get whenever you spill something on a black leather in the light, and that's all that's visible. You've got your very, very low specialized visor and just this bloody red smear. If anything, adding to the terrifying presence of all of you in your uniform. She makes her way.
I think we're moving as a tactical unit now. We're not casual strolling. This is a full team of judges in TAC mode.
So what I want to do, because I don't think getting into a whole ton of combat here is necessarily the most fun thing, but I want each of you to narrate me something that you come across as you come through, some resistance you come up against, and how it's dealt with, movie scene style, montage style. So let's start with Talon.
Talon is just doing she's gone by the book at this point. She's doing a room-to-room search. So it's approach a room, backed against the wall, turn, face the door, kick it open with the lawmaster out, shoot anything that's holding a weapon, and then clear the room, and then move on. the next one, and just room to room, clearing the hallway.
And you do this through several rooms as you go down corridors and these sprawling hallways. It's like walking through a mansion. And you put down several people with weapons. You secure and arrest several others who didn't have time to get to theirs or were simply unarmed. You do find a few civilians up here, mostly women, who you send back downstairs. Judge Waits, what's your montage moment?
So we're pushing through this penthouse suite, and I imagine we come into like a living room, and it's done up more like a club. This is a fun place that they go, they have parties, and they've seen what's going on, and they've put on the lights. So the lights in here are pulsing green, red, but they have an ultraviolet that pulses in too. And Waits is caught in the middle, and it like blinkers her for a second, and there's someone moving in this room, and she can't figure out where they are. And between the pulses of the light, we're having almost like when you have that flicker light, I can't think what it's called right now, going on. It's like a weird, like a strobe light. It's like a weird rainbow stop-start of this fight that happens in the middle. And Waits totally gets ambushed because she's been hit by the ultraviolet. But all of her like veins are just like straight up. All of her neck is just straight black veins. And there's just this horrible crunch at one point.
I imagine that as you go into that room, it's dark, and I imagine Waits' night vision is quite good. And you go in, and suddenly it's like the music gets put on full blast, and it's disorientating. You have that flash, and it's almost like those bits in movies where you like there's a flash of a camera or the club, and then it goes to blackness, and then when it comes back on, everything else is happening, and it feels like stop-start, like you said, like a strobe light going off. What is that crunch, Judge Waits?
I think the crunch is the sound of a reinforced elbow going through someone's skull as Waits is just like smashed out, not really knowing where she's attacking, but just hit, and it's just gone like straight through that skull and just smashed something.
I
think we also hear the clatter of one of her guns, and it just disappears out into the darkness as she loses something in this fight as well.
Yeah, I imagine that it's one of those ones that the strobe comes on and you spot someone in front of you, and just as it goes off, you put your hand out and the gun gets knocked. And it's so dark and loud in here from the thrum of that bass music that they've blared that you can't tell bass from gunshots. You can't tell the music from the shouting. And eventually, you think you've cleared the room. One of you struggles their way to where the sound system is and shuts it off, turning the lights off and bringing them up. And there are several men here dead. One of them probably torn apart by Waits as she's just clawed at whatever's in front of her. And Waits, you've probably taken a couple of gunshots as well. Minor ones that have bruised through, maybe one that has actually pierced and come out the other side, but nothing vital. And Waits, you think you feel that tingle in the back of your neck again, like something reaching out, and it doesn't quite get to you. And it's been a while now. The psychic blockers are really kicking in, and you feel that tingle for just the briefest of a second, not those few seconds like before. Like it's getting harder and harder for whoever this is to get through. And when you look down, as the lights come up and you can see now, you're injured, there's blood. But your injuries from before, your injuries from the room, your arm which felt stiff, like you'd perhaps fractured it somewhere, that's gone. You feel the side of your face under your helmet where it was a bloody mess, and the skin's no longer split. So you figure something about taking those psychic blockers has changed something.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you can put your finger on it, though, it's down to Waits.
She's a little shaky, but I think she wanders over to the music system, and she forces her way into it. It's a music system. I don't imagine it's got much noise security. And she turns it over, and I imagine Credence Clearwater Revival, Bad Moon Rising starts to play. And she takes a deep breath. We're making people very upset. We need to keep moving. And she like rubs the back of her head, like where her spine meets her skull. And I think she thinks internally towards that voice that keeps calling, keeps messing with them. And she says, by the end of this track, we're going to find you. And you see her tilt her head up, and there's one of those mirror balls just spinning around, and it's just like lots of pretty sparkles now. And you just see all the little dead guys' faces like illuminated in like little patches. And waits towards the door to indicate where we gotta go next.
And you see yourself in that mirror ball Waits, and you see it is true. Those injuries you had from being in the refuge, from that psychic attack, you see no trace of them now, just the injuries you've sustained in here. Judge Grease, what is your montage moment after you leave this club-like fun room with that music still in the background as you make your way through? What's your montage moment?
My montage is kind of like walking over everyone. He just jumps up on some person, gets like his like little 8 feet on them, and he jumps off of them to the next person, and he just hopscotches over everyone constantly.
Okay, and that's what you do, Grease, as you go through, helping these other judges drop people left, right, and center as the anti-militia come towards you. And there's no open attack as such. There's small ambushes set up. There are rooms that they are waiting in for you to come in. They have decided this is their territory, and they're going to dig in and wait for you to come to them. Judge Reinhold.
Okay.
What is your montage moment?
You know, he's bringing up the rear, and I'm assuming that if we're getting mobbed, you know, at least a handful of them try to rush us from behind as the judges at the front cut a swath of carnage through this floor and into the club. And he's got 2 of his 3 eyes closed. His third eye is wide open, unblinking, and with the axe and his telekinesis, he's just letting it go. You know, I'd like to think that the axe is actually whirling around him, chopping people and returning to his hand. And then he takes a knee, and it begins to spin in a circle, cutting down people. And it's it's a very expensive sequence where the axe is just seems to have a mind of its own. And I'd like to think he's even pushing himself hard enough to be actively searching for Shay while the axe whirls around him, taking off arms and legs and maybe a head or 2. And I would just like for him to just completely cut loose with his telekinesis and his makeshift axe.
And you do, slashing at people that are coming from the rear as they try to ambush you from behind. Your telekinesis in pulling this so strong that occasionally when the axe goes too close to objects on the side, glasses or bottles, that as you pull it back, your telekinesis knocks those off the shelves as well, causing this shatter of glass and spray of liquid. You see no signs of Shay, not any that you can see anyway. But you push forward nonetheless. I'm imagining a very Thor-like fight sequence with the hammer.
Yeah, this is the big Thor moment. It's classic.
And and you are making your way towards that office area that Grease knows. And eventually you reach a corridor that looks vaguely familiar. You remember seeing it off of your periphery, Grease, and you know you're not far. Judge Fremont, what is your montage moment?
Judge Fremont feels that there's an emplacement up ahead. So she walks out there. She notices they have explosives on them. She waves her hand. holds it in front of her, then drops pins from the grenades on the ground, and just smiles at them, tilts her head and smiles.
And it's only then you become visible, I imagine. As the pins go, they don't really notice. And just as you drop, they look down, and as they look up, there is Fremont in front of them. There are
Just
several loud explosions. The room is shattered. The furniture in here is ripped to shreds. And I imagine you can do a similar psychic shield to what Reinhold can do. You just watch it happen while the others have to take cover behind from the heat and the force of these blasts.
Nice.
And it's after this room, Grease, that you recognize where you are. You're at the start of that corridor. In fact, you can see the door to the other stairs that lead down into the arcade directly. You remember this corridor. This is just before you reach that kind of large, quite lush living room area that then leads off into the office. This is probably, and Fremont, you can feel this. You can feel the presence of adrenaline and anger and hatred and fear so strongly as you reach this area. It is overwhelming. This is where they're making their stand. This is your last chance to really prepare. And you can hear them somewhere off in the distance, anyone with very good hearing, perhaps Judge Waits and Judge Grease especially. The sound of weapons loaded, the sound of people moving around, the sound of furniture being moved.
All right, so there's somebody in there. I will deal with it. They'll be fine.
Oh, good. They picked a place where they wanted to die. Good.
Talon's holding a bottle.
Yep.
Just waiting. Just, can I start the party?
Sure. You can start the party if you want.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
It'll be amusing. Just let me go in and talk to the bald guy first.
Judge Talon, do you have any of those that are actually drinkable?
Starts patting her, holsters her weapon, starts patting herself down. Probably finds a flask. I know it doesn't explode. I don't know what it is. And hands you the flask.
And she kind of takes it, she like flicks off the cap, takes a sniff. Definitely alcoholic.
Would make sense.
And then she offers it out to Reinhold because she doesn't want to drink it first.
What the hell am I supposed to do with that?
There is a tradition, Reinhold. We should observe it. Drink.
And he does. Hands it
I
back to
imagine
you.
it's like moonshine or some sort of bullshit. Sneaker moonshine.
Oh,
No, it's not. No, she's got a full chemistry set. This is the good moonshine. This is bathtub gin at its finest.
Talon, you're a woman of many talents.
Shocking I haven't been married yet.
Woo! That better not be that stuff that makes you go blind.
Why, Sterno?
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah, no, I trust you, Talon. So wait, that's a tradition, like...
Just one
Never
swallow before our last stand. I saw it in a movie once, and she looks to Grease.
No. No. Before I last stand, we get laid. I'm gonna go back in that club and see if anyone wants to monkey around.
Nah, this is not our last stand. It's their last stand. Drink to that.
Yeah, well, if that's sterno, I don't want to drink it.
Wait
It's
till
the
take the
good
flask and swallow some.
Talon will take the flask from White's, look at Fremont, look at Grease, just upend it. You can tell her she's taking a big gulp. Yeah. And holds it out.
Yeah, she'll, Judge Freeman will take a little bit, just take a swig and just... Grease?
Nah, you can have mine.
Serve yourself. Take one more swig and hand it back to Waits.
Confiscating illicit, sanctioned moonshine, and she'll put it away. Write the little ticket.
We've hit 20 retweets, Charlie.
Yes! Perfect
Nice.
timing, everyone in chat. Thank you so much for those retweets. If we hit another 10, we hit 30, I'll do 4 more of these. But it's Wild Magic Surge time. Virginia,
Yes.
you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either roll a D5 to randomly assign these Wild Magic Surges, or you can decide as the GM 2 characters to get a Wild Magic Surge.
Oh, I'd like to roll this and see. I'm all up for leaving it up to the dice.
So 1 to 5 will be Talon 1, Reinhold 2, Fremont 3, Grease 4, and Waits 5. Going clockwise around the screen.
How do I roll a d5 on here, Charlie? I've completely
Slash
forgotten.
die, space,
That's it.
and 1d5. Dies and you wish death on your enemies.
I don't think it liked me trying to roll a d5. There we go. 3.
Oh. Ooh.
Alright, so Fremont, that's a 1d 10,000, please. I'm gonna open up
1D.
this list. Same way, so slash die space 1d 10,000.
So,
And then Virginia, if you want to roll a second one for me, we'll
Yeah.
find out who gets that one.
4. So is that Reinhold?
That is Grease.
Grease.
oh. We die together.
Right, so same from Zippy, please. Alright, what number did you get, Shauna?
I got 37,994.
3794. Here we go. Oh, when the caster next enters a town, it is overrun by feral dogs.
I mean, that's fine.
So we are applying GM discretion to work this in, Virginia. But
I
there
can
you
do
go.
that. Okay.
8,001.
8,001. Let me have a look here. 8,001. 1,000 cubic feet of dirt and rock rise as 16 earth elementals. There you go, Virginia. Something to work with.
Oh, psychic.
Oh
bonus.
boy. I can do that.
Alright, awesome. Thank you so much, chat, for helping us hit that target. Thank you for spreading the word that you are enjoying the game. Yeah, I'm gonna update the numbers. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. And new target of 30.
Ooh. Okay, so are you prepared to go into this?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see this madness.
Judges, describe to me how you make your way towards what is this kind of final front line for the anti-militia.
If I may, can this be where I use my boon to kick this off?
Yes, absolutely.
That wasn't Talon's only flask. So as they approach, Talon kind of sights down, and I imagine there's probably an initial grouping outside the door. where there's just a group of these anti-militia with their guns. They're supposed to try and take us out before we can even get to the door. And Talon, as we approach, Talon holds up her hand. She takes a swig, holds it in her mouth. Well, she takes out the cigarette. She takes a swig, holds it in her mouth, and then she steps forward and just over the edge of the cigarette and just dragon flame on that first row.
Yes, and it's in that corridor that leads into like that living space. It's kind of as you approach, they come in, and as you meet, that's when you throw out this jettison of flame. It's like watching a flamethrower go off. And some of you may even stop to question whether or not that's even safe to have in Talon's mouth, but she seems fine. And this wall of flame goes out, just like literally setting ablaze the first few people in the front who have come up with what appears to be kind of short firearms. You can see the few people behind retreating back into that kind of living space room. You can see the furniture has been turned over. It's at this point you hear a noise. And who is Tetley with right now?
Me in the back with me?
Okay. You watch as Tetley, already slightly on edge and growling, hunkers down. You know when a dog really feels threatened? When something's really going on? That's the form that he takes, the tail in the air. He starts barking and growling as he stalks up towards the front, away from you, Reinhold, and all of you hear it. The growling. The barking. And before you can even see the dogs that launch in your direction, Tetley has shot ahead as fast as his little legs can carry him in front of you, Talon, as he stands there. And anyone would think he is a big, scary guard dog by the way he stands his ground, as these 4 other vicious-looking dogs come skittering forward, stopping when they see Tetley, as they're all kind of looking at each other in that locked standoff moment. Tetley's going to get the first round in initiative here, but I would like everyone else to roll initiative, please.
Tetley is the law.
Tetley is the law!
That wild
Death,
magic
good
spell
boy.
gave Tetley some very specific enemies to deal with, so...
Death Corgi.
Death, yes.
Death Corgi! I'm so happy right now. Can't express. Right. Initiative.
Yeah.
What
That's
do
an
we roll for
intuition
initiative?
roll,
Right?
right?
It's just intuition, right?
Intuition, yeah.
Is it
unless
plus intuition as a skill?
no, but if you have intuition as a skill, I'll let that slide.
Okay.
If you've got things like agility-based skills can help as well.
And I have a treble sense, which gives me an additional d6.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
intuition and not
Yeah.
agility.
You have that psychic thing too, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I have 5
Yeah,
dice.
that'll
That's the
be
max we can roll, right, Virginia?
Oh, 3, 4, 5.
6, I think.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
Okay, I've given static initiative to all of my guys to make this easier, because otherwise I'm going to be rolling a lot of dice.
I got an 18.
Okay, so Tetley's first in the initiative, because why not?
I'll put it in our green room
Rockstar.
chat so we can see it. So Tetley first.
Tetley's first. Okay, Fremont got 24, so then it is Fremont.
Fremont, yep.
The dogs are going to be after that on a 20. So they're pretty quick. I don't think there are stats for dogs in this. I've just kind of made some numbers to work. Which is why I love this as a D6 system, because it's so easy to do that if you need it in a pinch. And then engine. Oh, that's you, Charlie. So you're on
That's
19.
me. Just weights, yep.
And then there is group 1.
Okay.
Group 2, oh gosh, they're all after each other. Group 3, and then we have Grease and then Talon.
Where is Reinhold on that list?
Has Reinhold rolled? Oh, it hasn't counted up the numbers for some
Yes,
reason. Hold
I got
on.
an 18.
18. Okay, so Reinhold is after you Waits and before group 1.
Alright, got it. There you go. So the order is going to be Tetley, Fremont, Not Good Boys, Waits, Reinhold, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Grease, Talon.
Cool. So, yeah.
If I may, just real quick, on top of that narrative boon, can we say that Tetley has his own armor? That Talon would have made armor for his own judge's armor. He looks kind of like the judge with the little eagles on the shoulder.
How can I say no to that? It's me. Yes, Tetley has his own little judge arm. It's like a little tactical vest that you see like police dogs wearing. There's a couple of pockets. One of them's marked with a little med patch. The other one's marked with a little dog treats, like bone symbol. His shoulders, because he's a corgi, can't quite fit like the eagle, but it's kind of presented like on the back of the collar. He's got a really cool. I like to think
while we were
Talon's
having
got,
that
like,
drink, Talon was putting this on Tetley.
I imagine that on the back, it's not even like an actual collar. It's like one of Talon's shoulder pads that have been strapped to his collar. So yes, Tetley looks badass. I'm imagining that somebody at some point has like put like a magazine of ammunition or something just to make him look cool. But
Oh yeah, of course he carries spare ammo in case somebody needs it.
what I want to know is though, who wants to take hold of Tetley for this combat? And I will just tell you what to roll.
I'm going to suggest that Reinhold does it because Reinhold is the keeper of the IED.
Okay, so Travis, what does Tetley do here? He's in front of Judge Talon in that kind of protective doggo mode, while these kind of 4 or 5 other not so nice looking dogs are kind of beginning to stalk up, and they're growling and they're starting to kind of circle where they can, and Tetley skits forward whenever any one of them goes too far off to one side, and they kind of, not in a scared but in that apprehensive way, kind of step back a little bit.
I like to think that he does like a feint, like he's been trained well enough to like do kind of a misdirect, like he's going to go after one and then he picks another one and then just so viciously attacks one of them in hopes of intimidating the other 3. You know, he fights like a dog possessed.
Okay, make me there's no point me telling you stores because we don't have a character sheet for Tetley, but I want you to roll me 4d6. 10, 15, 18. Okay. Tetley runs forward to one that's been trying to stalk around the kind of small area he's guarding. And as he goes for it, it jumps back and he goes to chase it. And as one of the other dogs tries to take advantage of Tetley stepping into their space, he lunges to the right, catching it across the neck and kind of tearing at it. Roll me 3d6 for his bite.
I mean, he knows how to use his own body weight. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And also, he was actually trained. 6 points of damage.
The combat trained corgi here, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't give these dogs massive amounts of health because I imagine they're not very well kept. Tetley tears at this thing and it drops, and one of the other dogs comes to lunge up, the one he'd originally gone for. Tetley does have a second action, so if you want to roll 4d6 again.
I mean, yeah, with a chunk of that other dog in his jaws, he goes after the other one. Oh my god. Fuck yeah. 12, 13, 14, 15. That's another 18.
We should get some Fs in chat for these not good boys. As the other one tries to come back, Tetley lunges, snaps back again, and kind of literally grabs this dog, tearing his teeth down it, and it spooks and just runs. There are still a couple of other dogs left, but you can see they look apprehensive now. They are not necessarily approaching as Tetley spins back round, and he almost looks back at all of you with an almost look of, did I do good? That was good. You know the way the
Good
dogs
boy.
do when they do something and they wait to see that you've seen. And on that note, we move on to Judge Fremont.
All right, so Judge Fremont's going to target one of the, I guess the first group that she can get within 20
Yeah.
feet. She's going to unleash a psychic attack cone. So it'll hit all those people in that zone.
Okay, go for it. They are kind of like, they've holed up behind what looks to be a sofa and a dining table kind of piled together and braced against the kind of home bar in this area. And you manage to kind of shift around and get that view on them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make that roll.
Oh, that will not save you. $19.
Is this our psychic?
Psychic versus defense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Versus the, oh my gosh, where is it?
Mental defense, yeah.
So I realised I'm on the wrong page for that stat block. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, no, that's they're not doing good. that affects them.
All right, I'm gonna spend 1 luck to add on the damage. So that'll be 2d6.
Cool.
I'm gonna roll the first d6 because that's 5. Ooh, I think it explodes, right? The luck dice.
Yes.
Ah. All right, let's go. All right, cool. 12.
Ouch. Let me see. Where is that? I'm so sorry. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm a little bit blind. You let out this psychic blast, and they take it pretty hard. One of them drops his gun. A couple of them clatter in to that kind of makeshift barricade that they have built, and you can see already that it's not so much they're on the verge of death, but it's like they just can't, like they're blinking as if they're trying to regain some sense of what's going on, where they are, what they're doing. And you know what, you probably have felt it if you've ever been psychically attacked, what the recoil on that is like as you try to adjust after being blasted with that psychic energy.
Yeah,
Is there anything else
I think Judge Reinhold just sees like a bunch of like these tendril spikes coming from Fremont's mind and just into their heads as well, like just. And I think that's it. I think that's it for her.
That's it. You don't want to do anything else? You have got another action.
Oh, I do. That's right. You know what? I'll just take. You know what? High X shot. Let's just do it.
Oh.
In that group. I'm feeling mean. 18.
That'll hit.
All right. 2d6. Oh, 2.
2. Okay. Yeah, you let off the high explosive round, and it doesn't hit any one of them in particular, but it basically shatters and explodes all across that back bar where some of the... There's like some columns in here that you don't think are structural. And I know the wild magic said that things rise up out of the ground, but for the purposes of this, we're going to have things collapsing from the floor above, since there is no actual earth in here. And that high explosive round, you watch as the mirrored tiling behind that back bar shatters, and suddenly there's a crack and the concrete caves in, and you watch it splinter and fragment across the top of this room. I am going to ask everybody, and that includes my guys, to make agility tests for me, please, as the concrete fractures and chunks of it just, and you can see, like, you know, if you've ever seen in concrete buildings, when you knock it away, you've got that mesh that supports all of the like the steel struts and stuff. You can start seeing those underneath.
I'm going to roll with my acrobatics.
Yeah.
Since I am doing maneuvers. Ah!
Can I roll
22.
with running as I run away?
Yes.
Okay. And Stefan just resubscribed for this 12th month. And I'm going to say it's going to trigger a wild magic surge, and I'm going to say that Talon gets to roll it.
Yes. I'm all for
This
this.
is just me deciding because it's Friday and it's a finale and I want to have fun. So
Yes.
thanks so much for that resub.
All right, I'm going to use one of my luck points on that, so I'm going to use 3 and then the 1.
Okay, if everyone rolls for that agility test, we'll do the wild magic surge in case that affects anything, and then we will see.
All right, I'm going to
Oh,
change the first 4 numbers, Kat.
Okay. Yeah, I
that
added
was-
an extra 0. Sorry.
Well, good. It was 9 for what was the end of it?
1-5.
1-5.
1-5. 1-5. Great. It says here, I think that is this the old table? Anyway, next polymorph magic use turns the caster into a rooster.
Oh, no.
Do we want to let Kat re-roll that? Because I don't know how we can turn anybody into a
Yeah,
rooster.
let's
in
reroll
this.
that. I'm not sure how it's going to work.
There's,
Even
there's
as a
sending it to the
metaphor.
GM's
I'm not
That
sure
sounds
how
like
that
fun.
and then there's impossible.
3-0.
I'm no longer a monkey judge. I'm a rooster judge.
Tiny little helmet. Tiny.
Okay, next door opened by caster leads to a modern bathroom.
We can do that. So,
So-
can I
It just
hear?
opens up into a bathroom.
I mean, it's very modern. Who knows what could be in there?
A bidet.
Can I have the results of your agility tests, please? So, weights. Did you get over 15?
No. 14.
Okay, you fail. Grease, did you get over 15?
Yeah, I got a 22.
Okay, you succeed. You dodge the falling concrete. Fremont, did you get over 15?
Nope, 13.
13, you also fail. Reinhold, did you get over 15?
Look out, I got a whopping 7. Hold on to your butts.
And Talon,
8.
did you get over 8? Okay. I'm going to say, though, that you see this and you do open... You just open a door that's off to the side to try and get out of the way. It is a very modern bathroom, and the upside of that is it looks like that in here, this is actually part of the original building of an apartment that's been knocked through. And so you're not quite affected by this because this room is more structurally sound. It hasn't got support walls missing. And therefore, I'm going to say that you pass thanks to that wild magic surge.
Thank you.
Love it. And
However,
Reinhold
everybody
is happy-
else,
Oh no. Okay. I don't see the bathroom because I died.
everyone else takes 15 plus 3, 18. Reinhold, you will have soak on that, by the way.
Which is a flat 5, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
So 13
Oh boy,
points.
I am.
I need
13.
someone to roll for Tetley.
Oh, what?
Man.
Tetley gets a bonus dice, though.
Do I roll that?
so
I
if-
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Reinhold, you
Yeah,
got
you
roll
roll-
that way.
It's going to be
Roll
5 in
Tetley.
total this time because I'm going to give Tetley a bonus dice because he is small.
That's
It's a
true.
small
He is
doggo.
Good boy. Good boy. Yes.
And
yes.
15.
An 18. These 18s for everyone but me. What's going on?
Tetley skitters towards the open door where Judge Talon is and kind of nuzzles himself between your legs as a safe place, kind of like standing between your feet as you brace. So yeah, if you got caught in that, that is 18 points in total. So if you've got I imagine all of you have got a soak of 5, so that's 13. Is anybody down and out?
Not down and
So-
out, but it's bad.
So close.
Okay.
So close.
I will remind you that everyone, I think except Grease, you've used yours, you've all got an auto success sitting on your overlay.
Oh.
Oh, if I move my little
Right.
camera box, I can see that.
So it is then it's then the other dog's turn, and Tetley isn't here. Talon is off in that side room, so I reckon we've got 3 more dogs here. and they are going to
They're
go.
not good boys.
They are not good boys. One's going to go for Reinhold as you're still trying to like pull off this rubble off of you. The other one is going to go for Fremont because you're right up at the front. And I think one of them is going to go for Grease because it sees you. You're not human. You're much smaller. You're easy prey. And I'm going to use the same roll for all of you. So that is 14 against your melee defense.
Ooh.
Reinhold?
Oh yeah. Oh no, that hits the shit out of me. Yeah.
Okay, and Grease, does that hit you? 14?
Yes, but I have soak.
You do have soak. Okay, so
The 14 is just the two hit.
yeah, it's just a hit.
I hope so.
It is 9 points of damage, not including any soak. So if you've got soak, that is going to be 4 points in total.
Oh my god, I'm being ripped apart by dog. Okay, wait. So 9 minus soak? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
9 minus soak, so it's 3. If you've got soak of 5, that'll be 4 in total.
Man. Oh yeah, just like I'm down to 2.
Don't forget, you can spend luck to negate points of damage.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, then I'll spend. I'm trying to hold on to some of this for the big showdowns if I get there. So, I'm all right. I'm at 3.
Okay. That is the dog's turn over with. We now go to Waits.
Wait sees the dog's leap, and she's already got armor piercing round on. She's not going to waste time resetting her gun. She's just going to shoot the dogs currently attacking her friends. She's
Okay,
just
so
had a massive chunk of building fall on her. She kind of rolls to the side. She sees these dogs leap, and she just...
I imagine it's like snapped part of the visor off the front of your helmet as well. As it's like hit down. So you've now got this kind of half jagged across the face, the red blood smear. Go ahead and take 2 shots.
Okay.
2 different dogs or the same dog?
2 different dogs. She's assuming an armor piercing round is going to kill a dog, is what she's thinking. So, and she can see 2 of her friends getting attacked, I think, or 3.
Yeah. It ignores soak as well. So just roll to hit twice, and then we'll do the damage twice.
This is pistols plus agility, right?
Yes.
Alright, so that's 4 dice. I'm scared. Please roll well. 18.
No need to be scared.
That's one.
That'll hit.
And 15 for the second
That
shot.
will also hit. And go ahead and roll your damage for both.
I do have the damage information in front of me, Virginia.
That will be... sorry, you're on armor piercing, right?
Correct.
So
Half
that is going to
damage
be...
ignores 10 soak.
Yep, so roll 2d6 plus 2 and then half it.
Alright, let's see. 2d6. 6 plus 8. 4.
So 4, and then for the next one.
Same again. 11 halved is 5. Wait, no, hang on, it's not 11. 13 halved is 6. 6.
Yes.
I didn't know if we're
Okay.
running off that. I'm going 6.
The second dog is definitely down and out. It goes clean through. The first dog isn't quite out, but is wounded enough that it runs, like an animal does when it reaches a point. Its self-preservation instinct kicks in. And we're now going to move over to Reinhold. As this dog is tearing at you as you're trying to move this concrete off of you.
Cool. I'm going to use my telekinesis since I'm assuming this dog is a small object within 5 feet of me. And I would like to launch this dog across the room.
You're going to yeet the dog. Okay.
I'm just going to like look at it, and put my chin down, and just shove it with my telekinesis.
Yeetus doggus.
Yeetus deletus.
I can freely move and manipulate it. I mean, do I roll telekinesis? Do I roll psi?
roll psi plus your if you got telekinesis as a skill. Let's just see how well you do. Is this like you shove it back a bit, or is it like you chuck it into one of the groups of guys and it starts going for them kind of thing?
I want to launch it against a wall. Like, I want to splat it like a bug on a windshield if I can, just like directly away from me. Alright, so here we go. My psi is fucking sweet, so here we go. Except I don't know how to use Fantasy Grounds. Alright, here we go.
2,
So 6
12 15 24.
There you go.
You yeet the dog across the room. Its snarl turns into a whimper as it hits against one of the walls. And it's not quite dead, but it struggles to pick itself up, and it just like fucks off basically. It's like, nope, self-preservation is kicked in, cannot fight this. What would you like to do with your second action, Reinhold?
I would like to use my telekinesis again to blast the rubble up off of me, and I rise like a phoenix from the ashes with 3 hit points and my axe in one hand. And it would be great if I could float, maybe an inch or 2 off the ground. And I'm just done fucking around. And he just uses his telekinesis to remove all this rubble and rise.
Okay, and that is what you do. And it's that moment as you kind of blast back this concrete that you come up and you hover for just a second with the sheer force of it disrupting physics itself. And then we go over to all 3 of the groups here. So one of them is going to let off shots, and they are going to go for who is at the front here? Talon's still inside, so it's probably going to be Fremont and Reinhold, actually, the 2 that appear to be most dangerous. You know that they apparently don't seem to like side judges very much. Let's go ahead and roll here. Does 10 hit either of your range defenses?
Nope.
No.
Reinhold. Okay.
My ranged is 10. That's a hit, right? Yes. Oh no.
Oh, no.
It is, yeah.
Oh no.
Did man, but he got a good moment before he got shot to hell.
So that is 11, not including your not including soak. So with soak, it will be 6. Fremont, there is a hail of bullets from this group, and you manage to kind of use some of that fallen debris to your advantage and kind of manage to hit the deck quickly and fire off some covering fire. But you hear a sound behind you of bullets hitting flesh, and when you turn around, you see Reinhold being peppered with them as you duck. They've gone clean over to you into him. Is that you down? You're a -3. Okay, do you know what? We've never had this happen, but I have to get up the rules for dying.
It's just bleeding out.
Wait, can you not use the auto success to auto dodge?
I could.
Oh, okay.
If you'll let me retroactively roll that, but I have to say I was, if he dies,
you don't really roll in defense though. So
yeah.
Okay, this starts a countdown.
Oh, I love a good countdown.
So
It's the final countdown.
You have a dice pool equal to the size of your endurance dice pool.
Okay.
Each turn, you roll that dice pool. Any dice that come up with a 6 are removed, and the pool continues. Eventually, the last die is removed from the pool. It is then that the character dies.
Oh, 6 are bad. Oh no.
So that's how long you have for somebody to get aid to you, basically. Or to stabilize yourself.
Can I just say, I love that 3 of us in chat made the same joke. Good job. Good job, Hive Mind.
We're all telepathically linked at this point. So can I use an auto success in that roll? to not die for a round?
I will
Or how
let you
would
use
that-
the auto. I will allow you to use the auto success, so you don't have to roll your dice pool.
Okay. All
So
right,
you
cool.
don't risk losing any from that countdown timer. But that'll be in your in the next. Actually, I'll probably make. I think you have to roll it this turn. Okay, so you want to avoid doing it this time. So you go into negative. You don't start dying yet.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
so then there is group 2. So you've gone down and they think you're dead. Fremont's undercover. So I think they're going to go next for Waits, because you've gone out and shot these dogs.
Good luck
Yep.
with that. Be right back.
Does 11 hit your range defense, Waits?
Let me check my range defense. It doesn't hit my melee defense. So that helps. It just hits my range.
Okay. So that is 3. That is 5, which I think you soak entirely.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a hail of bullets, and you feel them impact, and they hit the plating in your judge uniform, pinging off the shoulder pads as you carry on forward. We have the last group, and I think they're probably going to try and go for Grease at the back, because at this point, they realize that Marlon Brando is with the judges. That is a 14 against your range defense.
It hits.
It hits. That is 7, which will be reduced to 2 by your soak if you have a soak of 5.
Yes. I am at 10.
You're at 10 hit points.
Trying to think so. No. I am at 5.
You're at 5 hit points. Okay.
Yes.
You feel a couple of. You hear that's Marlon fucking Brando, and then there's a hail of bullets in your direction, and it is, funny enough, Grease, your turn.
Huh. Hi guys. I'm here to fucking kill you. Every single one of you. Bang goes a bullet in your direction, high explosive. Bang goes a bullet in your direction, and that'll be my 2 actions.
Okay, go ahead and make those. Just roll to attack for both, and then we'll roll the damage for the ones that hit.
Okay. So that is 6 dice, so 12 on the first one,
Let me look here.
and 24 on the second.
The 12 misses, but the 24 will hit.
Okay, and then high explosive.
So high explosive, you're looking at it's 2d6.
And then plus the 1 dice for tinkering with my weapon.
Yes.
11.
11. I'm going to say the other guy takes half of that damage because it's explosive. So, like, even if the round doesn't hit him, things around him explode. Cool. Oh, wait. So it'll be that many in total. Yeah, you set off the high explosive rounds. One of them manages to get out of the way, but you see the areas in the furniture they've stacked there just shatter to pieces. The other guy in that group, the other 2 guys in that group, just get hit in the center of that and are just blown outwards, lifeless. And that leaves us finally with Judge Talon.
So Judge Talon likes to play pool because Judge Talon has a thing for maths with the explosives and so formulas and all of that. And when you're calculating an explosion, you have to know how much space you have and volume and all of this thing. She likes to play pool. She likes the angles. So she steps out, she takes a look at what's left, does the angles in her head, and with her lawmaster, just like she's lining up a pool shot with a rubber bullet, fires.
Go ahead.
I know I have to remember what it. Support.
Do you want to use your auto success?
I want to burn my last luck on this one, actually.
Okay.
That's a 19.
That'll hit. So you are rolling 3d6 plus 2 because you are in an enclosed space.
Right. What did it do? There we go. Where's my d6? 10 points.
10 points. I will say this, if you want to spend your auto success, I will allow all 3 groups to take that damage as you let off a couple of rubber ricochet rounds.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. You let off a series of rubber ricochet rounds in several different points that you've calculated. And not only do they hit people, but they hit objects. They smash alcohol bottles into bits of carpet that are starting to burn up from, the high explosive rounds. They knock into furniture that traps people under it. And these 3 groups are very quickly dispatched, trapped, or burned in this room.
And as that bullet just finally kind of loses all of its energy and falls to the floor, she looks over at him and she goes, "And he is the motherfucking law," and keeps walking.
And as all of you step over the broken furniture, the bits of concrete, through the flames that are beginning to engulf this room and the bodies you have left in your wake, you make your way to the office. In Greece, you remember this walk. You get to the door. Somebody kicks it open. And sat in a desk, holding on to a handgun, is the man whose name you never got. On the back wall, you can see the badges of Shay and Caro. As he sits there and he looks at you holding on to this weapon. There's a look of resignation. There's a look of unexpectedness. Like he didn't think you'd get this far. Like he'd been sitting in here waiting for somebody to come back and say that they'd done all of the judges in. But now he looks at all of you. Well...
Marlon looks at him. Hey, so we just did in all the judges. Hope you don't mind.
He says nothing. He's got this venomous look in his eye, the look of somebody who is a sore loser. You're not going to find her, you know.
I don't want to find her. I don't care about her. All I care about is you, Baldy. I don't even know your name. What's your name?
I don't think you deserve to know it. Maybe she'll
As soon as he
tell you.
opens his mouth, Grease is going to take a reflex shot and try to shoot Baldy in the face. Because
Okay.
he was like, I'm gonna let you try to say your name, and then he thought it would be cool to just like shoot him, and nobody ever knows his name, and then he's like this great evil mystery.
So he goes, he looks at you, he says, I don't think you deserve to know it. Maybe she'll tell you, since she helped so much. Don't think I don't know. You judges are all the same. Hell, what does it matter? My name is, and as he goes to tell you in that furious, angry moment, that's when you take your shot. Take your shot. If anyone who's got
big
auto
bad evil guy
successes,
speeches.
if anyone who's got an auto success wants to grant it to Grease in this moment, I will allow
25.
Oh,
He doesn't
You
need
don't-
it.
You don't even need it. I'm not going to make you roll for damage because I think it's more fun if you don't. And you take the shot. He's just declared that maybe she'll tell you. He knows she's been helping. All of you judges are the same and stick together. And in that anger when he realizes that no, you will know his name. As he goes to speak it, before the first syllable even leaves his lips, there is a deafening bang, and that ringing silence you get after a gun is fired. And the only sound that comes out of his mouth is a pathetic gurgle as blood begins to pool. And he slumps forward onto the desk, the firearm clattering against the wood as the body relaxes.
And waits, turns to Grease. And she has a notebook and pen in her hand. Shakes her head and tuts. Now I don't know who to write this to.
Marlon Brando. And Marlon Brando is dead, right?
And she writes Marlon Brando and lays the ticket down in front of the dead man on his desk.
Talon's looking at the bottle in her hand going, oh man, and I brought him soup as a housewarming gift.
No, the soup was a good backup plan. I didn't even know what was going to happen. I was like, yo, I'm going to say something really cool, and maybe it will be cool. And then it did. It's like all this hard work finally paid off.
It's like a movie. It's like
It's
a scene out of a movie.
It's like a movie.
Reinhold, Fremont. You feel a familiar tingle in the back of your neck. You did it. He's dead. He's finally gone. The worst thing I ever created. The worst mind I ever tried to inhabit. I thank you for that, judges. Well done. Maybe we'll meet. At some point. Goodbye, Reinhold. I guess you won't be carving my mind out anytime soon. I look forward to it, though. And the voice disappears. What I would like as we very quickly finish up, because you have now just taken out the person running the anti-militia, is to describe to me what you put in place here at Freedom Falls. Because you'll improve the law by having taken out the literal worst of all of the gangs. But I want to know what your judges try to do in the long term here. And if I think they'll increase the law meter, we'll bump it up. Let's see how much law you finish with here.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Grease is going to get all of the people that helped him, and he's going to show them how to put in place a list of rules and laws that they've chosen to abide by in place, giving them freedom. Yeah, so like an internal
like a
charter.
block law.
Yeah, in which we judges will enforce. That way, the people aren't oppressed by the Hall of Justice. They know what the laws are and what they're going to get because they're the ones who made them. And everyone gets a vote. It's like
I have
democracy.
An addendum to this beautiful rollout. So Grease does all of this. Waits has spent her time kind of helping with the civilian crisis because she alerted HQ and doing some paperwork. And as soon as Grease kind of gives his final speech, you know, presenting the 17 rules of Freedom Falls, or whatever the fuck it ends up being, and comes back into the refuge, Waits is going to arrest him and present a long list of charges.
Does Waits actually send him to the ISO?
She escorts him herself.
How long?
No, it wasn't me. It was Marlon Brando. You have no proof it was me. You got no proof.
Charlie?
The official paperwork ends up only reading one ISO for public disturbance of the peace, but Waits has another piece of paper which tallies up all other offences.
I imagine that you show Grease the one with like this ridiculous sentence on, but he only really gets a day.
And when she returns to Freedom Falls, having dropped him off, she goes to Talon's soup on the back burner, and the one with the real number and crimes on goes in that back soup. And she just kind of watches it dissolve away.
Reese is getting pulled away, and he's like, no, this is racial profiling. It was Marlon Brando. You think old chimps look the same?
Talon is like, my soup. As it just becomes a solid lump from the addition of wood and paper.
What does Talon set up long term here?
Talon has, she sets up she gets the food going again. All of the food stalls are open back up. She's got a good chain going. She actually recruits people to keep the farms going in the ISO 59 area. And she recruits the Clipped Wing gang. They are now in charge of internal food and resources and managing that, trying to keep them as much self-reliance within the block as they can, reducing their need to have to go outside. And she gets all of that set up. There are, and in every, there's a market that gets set up in the arcade, like a farmer's market type setup in the arcade, and also a soup kitchen that gets set up there for anybody that doesn't have the credits, whatever, the elderly, the people. There's a soup kitchen for them so that they at least can get that one meal. And she starts cooking classes.
Okay. And Judge Fremont, what do you do for the long term for Freedom Falls?
Judge Fremont's going to call in some favors at the Psychic Division and bring in some plainclothes psychics to weed out the remaining anti-militia that have probably hidden themselves here.
Okay, and you weed out the remaining members of the anti-militia. Some handed in, by family and friends. Some who come forward out of fear for the way the judges are now running things on the block.
Mm-hmm.
With those psychics, however, you pick up no trace of Shay. They look and they search, but they can't find a trace of her.
And I think through this whole thing, she noticed that Judge Waits has been holding the book, writing it. It's like, I used to do that with Judy. Do you know how many of those books I've had of hers? Minor Crimes? 14.
I've met Judge Judy.
14. I should just walk away.
Waits is fangirling.
Judge Fremont. Judge Fremont.
Yes.
Where do you get your spare books?
Oh, I've stopped doing that. You can have mine. I have a good stack of them.
Oh, and there's someone I'd like you to meet. And Waits will take Fremont to visit the little girl up on floor 26. And I guess they'll kind of act like mentors in a way. Like, we'll make sure she gets whatever she needs, kind of thing.
Maybe, yeah.
You have a moment where you bring Tetley up with you one of these days. And she's just playing with the dog, and you know now that her power, she's not old enough to know how to use it deliberately. But you've seen it before occasionally where she's picked up something or touched something, and she'll just, like kids do, will just narrate something to do with that object and then carry on like nothing's happened. And she's scritching Tetley around the neck, and she plays with his little collar. And she goes, Tetley used to belong to a nice lady. She was really pretty, and then she changed her face. And then she just carries on talking to Tetley, like kids do. Judge Reinhold, What do you do long term for this block?
Fuck all. I think he's loaded into the ambulance. You do the thing where the camera is mounted to the gurney, so I'm like shaking. I got the thing on my face. You know, he's just blasted to hell. I'm hoping that he's taken to the emergency room. He's stabilized and spends weeks in the hospital with 2 of his 3 eyes closed. And when he makes it back on his feet, I think he walks with a cane and tenders his resignation as a judge, cashes in his pension, moves into a storage unit, and gets a excellent conspiracy board going of as much he can pull together on Shay and where she is, where she might be, who her cohorts might be, and then at night he has furious night terror nightmares of half remembering like laying in this woman's lap and her stroking his forehead while he goes running around in a maze inside his own mind. He probably will never get over it unless some cool shit happens.
And the worst bit is, Judge Reinhold, is that sometimes you're not even sure if they're dreams or if she's found a way to visit you. But you try as you might, and you spend your time picking up every tiny little bit of information, even returning to Freedom Falls, I imagine, to try and seek her out, running into some of your fellow previous judges before quickly leaving again back to your storage container. So, I'm going to say, Reinhold, unfortunately, that doesn't add anything to the lore for Freedom Falls.
No. He's half the man he used to be.
I will say so we've got 4 things that help out. I'm going to say that bumps the lore meter up by 4. And what I will say is so that we don't have those really awesome donations for crit successes go to waste. Each one of those left over, which I think is 2, will also go towards the lore meter for those particular judges doing that thing extremely well. What does that leave us on, Charlie?
Sure, I contributed.
I haven't been counting.
I think that puts us at 7.
Which is the max law.
Okay. 6 months later, you are all called back to HQ with the exception of Reinhold, who leaves. And I don't know if you've told anyone that, but when you get there, you are met by Judge Henley, who declares that this initiative was a success and they'd like to roll it out to other troubled mega blocks in the city. They decree that you will have to go and visit Freedom Falls once every 6 months to ensure what you put in place continues, but they would like you to head up a team to continue this initiative. Congratulations, judges. You brought law to Freedom Falls.
Yay!
Yay!
And with the acrid scent of explosions, blood, and psychic horror still lingering in the air, let us go round, say hello to everyone, and say goodbye, as this is the finale of Judge Dredd on the block for this winter season. Virginia, let's come to you last. I'm going to skip over you and go straight to Cleric of Cord.
Hey, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord, which is where you can find me on the Twitters and working in Twitch streams, watching my friends play D&D and TTRPGs and all kinds of games, which is what I love to do as well. This was a blast. I didn't know what to expect. I'd seen the Carl Urban movie. I have vague memories of once seeing the Sylvester Stallone version. I'm not sure. And this was a blast. And the more I got to learn Talon, the more I loved her. The more I got to learn about this group, I love them. Grease is the word and will always be the word as far as Talon is concerned. Every now and again, she probably goes up and whispers, Marlon fucking Brando.
I know! It was great, wasn't it? Oh my god! We need to do it again.
So yeah. Oh, and you don't happen to have Horatio's number, do you?
Oh, Horatio and I had a falling out. He said he didn't like Alfred Hitch Chimp films, I had to let him go.
Too bad. All right. Oh, there's banana nut bread for you. And but I love this. This was
Your narrative boon allows you to get his number. You bump into him in a bar somewhere.
Yes.
It's canon.
banana nut bread. It's a thing. I love this. Reinhold, I love you guys so much. This was so much fun. It really was. That was a hell of a fight.
And speaking, Judge Reinhold, producer Trav. Hi, friend.
Hello, friend. Man, this was such a cool opportunity to do a campaign and to play with Cleric, who we've been circling for about a year now, and to really dig in and play one. I've got some notes here. I take out the banana nut bread is my favorite action in a round I've ever heard. What do you do? Oh, take out the banana nut bread. And I loved communicating with Tetley, maybe my favorite NPC ever. And I learned a new word, yeet. Kids are saying yeet.
Or past tense of yote.
See, I'm 125 years old, and Methuselah over here, so that's fun. And also Virginia is just a really clever, sharp, steady DM who clearly works for a gaming company and really knows her shit. And I've really learned a lot about DMing playing this campaign, and so I just think it's great, and I've had a wonderful time. Thank you for the opportunity, Charlie. And Shauna, PAX Unplugged. Yes. Hot damn, we'll get coffee.
Yeah.
So this was great. I'm producer Trav. I produce WebDM. Last week's show was on Problem Players, so that's a pip. Jim and Pruitt apologize for getting mad at me for running asshole rogues and being half checked into the campaign, which I forgot about. So that's fun. In my late teens. So you won't want to miss that. And also, this is just, I'll say one more thing and not take up the whole show. So this has capped off a really amazing week of streaming gaming for me. Teenagers from Outer Space, where Lindy and I were doing some smooching last Saturday. D&D on Monday and Tuesday nights was just awesome. I played Crazy Man. And then yesterday I got to run my Aliens game, my Alien/Blade Runner mashup spectacular over on Lindy's channel. Check it out because it just went awesome and was just bananas and aliens. And I'm having a great time. And you may see me on the ERP network in 2020. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. But thank you so much for this. And peace and love. Be good to each other.
And on the subject of aliens, during this season, all of which is up on YouTube, Travis ran an incredible one-shot of the Alien RPG system for us, inspired by the run on, was it Area 52?
The very successful raid on Area 51 that took place earlier.
That's the one, Area 51. My brain is total mush because this was amazing. So please go check that out. That's in our one-shots playlist. And please go and check out Judge Dredd. We have both On the Block and last season's all up there, all ready for you to binge watch. So if you've just come in today, go and check that out. Thank you all so much for being here. But from last season and now into this season, Shauna. Hi, friend.
Hey, God, thanks for having me for this brief period of time. It was wonderful to play with everybody new, especially Cleric and producer Trav, who I wanted to play with for a while, and finally get to do more than a one-shot with Charlie. And be able to play with Zippy again, and play with my Octung sister, Virginia. It was so fun. But you can catch me at Flying Cirrus on Twitter. I have art and pin tweets all the games I play, and I just did some art for Hollowtail for an upcoming The Hollow World podcast. Did a few character art, which I'm very proud of, so check that out.
Awesome. Yes, do go and check that out. That art looks amazing. Hollowtail, of course, our Thursday GM with Unhallowed Metropolis. And I've heard great things about this podcast. Do go and check that out. Zippy Zippo! Grease is the
how's it going? Oh, yeah, no, it was great. Yeah. Game's over, so I can go back to this. Huh, man, what a wonderful game. I like the fact that I could play a chimp.
But I also like the fact that I could play a chimp that liked movies, and those movies could influence the game. It was great. I loved it. It was fantastic. I can't wait for the next campaign I am in, and I can also play, I don't know, hopefully not somebody who stirs the pot, but you know, it's me, so it probably is. That's one of my character tropes, is just like, what is everyone doing? We're gonna save the town. But what if we don't? Let's pose that moral question. But I'm glad that everything came out well in the end. I'm glad that the law has come to Freedom Falls. And yeah, I'm Zippy Zippo. You can catch me on my channel, The Zippy Zippo, where I play tons of games. Right now, we're doing Red Dead Redemption 2. Heck yeah.
Very nice. Another place you can catch loads of games is over on Virginia's brand new channel. Virginia, thank you so much for DMing this campaign.
Thank you so much for having me. I remember being super nervous when you first asked me to run Dredd, because I was like, oh, what if I can't do it? And you know what? Everyone has been amazing. It has been so awesome to DM for you, Charlie, because it's normally the other way around. It's great to have Cleric on, as always. I'm so glad I've been able to play with Travis. I love Reinhold as a character. Having my Acton Cthulhu sister back again to join us for the end of this season has been incredible. Zippy, I have loved playing with you every minute of this game. Just all of the curveballs that you have thrown have been incredible. I do also want to give a shout out to Birdie, who was here for a few episodes earlier in the season, who played Judge Gilroy. I know she wasn't able to be here for as long as we'd hoped, but I loved playing with Birdie too in the time that I got to, which was amazing. I'm in love with this game so much, and perhaps there is still more stories to tell at Freedom Falls, especially surrounding Judge Shay. But my name is Virginia, and you can find me at Tabletop Horde on Twitter and on twitch.tv/Tabletop Horde. At the minute, I'm playing a whole bunch of Fallout 1, which I'll probably stream more of this week because I'm off work for a week. And next year, it will be my Tabletop Horde one-shot stream. So I play a bunch of games in this bookcase behind me that I bought and not properly played through. We're all guilty of that, though. I'm not the only one. Doing some one-shots, and there's some intermittent other streaming stuff that goes on there. But please come over and follow me, hit join. Hopefully, you might see some of these wonderful people on there sometime next year if I can wrangle them out of their busy schedules into playing games with me.
Something I 100% look forward to. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yes, things that I am looking forward to. I have a huge list, and they do include things coming up next year. We have already confirmed the return of Tentacle Tuesdays for next year. We've confirmed that I will be running a Game of Thrones campaign, which you can sign up for currently over on the Discord. You can also sign up for our new Spyhander campaign, which will be coming up next year. And we have a host of more fun games coming up and announcements to make in the next few weeks. Speaking of the next few weeks, we do have finales all next week, with the exception of Zweihander, which has been moved to December 18th. So Monday we have Ravnica Unleashed, which is our D&D Learn to Play campaign. Tuesday will be Tentacle Tuesdays. Then Thursday is the Unhallowed Metropolis finale, and that will be it until that Saturday, November 30th, when we do our charity meat grinder. We are raising money for suicide prevention. It's running from 2 till 5 Eastern, being DM'd by the wonderful Jonathan Fry as we enter the arena of the Mind Flayer. Please come and hang out. Please come and support us. I am back on Sunday this week at 3 p.m. for Roleplay Roundup. I hope you will come by for that. Lindy and I are talking all things TTRPG, from creation to things we found that we love to things we want to try out. I can't remember what's on the docket this week because I'm a terrible human being, but it will be full of good stuff. We've had Virginia on before talking about her game Space Hype. We've had Jonathan Fry and Kiana Shaw talking about To Hell and Back Again. We've had a host of people, and I promise when we come back in the new season, we will have a host more. Lots of fun stuff to talk about and to share. I think that is everything I wanted to mention, except please stay in chat because we are about to go and raid Fuck Cancer, Roll Dice, a 24-hour stream, raising money for various cancer charities in honor of some very cool people, survivors, fighters, and friends. So Stay tuned. Take care. I will see you on Sunday, and if I don't, I expect to see you on Monday for Ravnica Under Fire. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks so much. Freedom lives and freedom falls.
My name is Jace Bellerin. I am the Living Guild Pact. What makes your plane more worthy than any other?
Ravnica can never be free until we stand over the buried body of the Guild Pact.
In the name of Mat Celestia, I will shine a light that gives new life to the Conclave and brings the truth out of darkness.
Ravnica and its people deserve peace, and I aim to bring it to them, regardless of what my new patron may want.
My life is the sword that will strike down the tyranny that tries to lay shadow over my people.